Hey guys, welcome to Coding After 30. I hope you're having a great start to 2021 and that you're on your path to making things happen that you planned for yourself. In this video, I want to talk about this idea of goal setting versus creating a process that you could follow to help you reach those goals. Because every new year, everybody has a New Year's resolution. And one thing I know for sure, I have never in my life completed a New Year's resolution that I could tell you about. It seems that people start strong, but then they fail. So in this video, I just want to talk about some tips that you could use to help you stay on track and something that I am going to be doing this year to help me get to the next step in my journey. By the way, if you're new to this channel, my name is Paul and I talk about switching into web development later in life. If this is something that interests you, consider subscribing. Alright guys, so maybe you have completed New Year's resolutions, but honestly, to tell you the truth, I have never stuck to any of my New Year's resolutions that I have set in my whole entire life. Usually when I do accomplish things, it's because I had no choice. Maybe you could relate, maybe you can't. The reason why I switched into web development, not because I just decided to switch into web development. My last job that I had, I loved it, but it was destroying my body. It was very physical and I was literally becoming too injured to work, and I realized that I have to think of a way to transition to a different career in order to be able to continue to make money. And so I had to make a decision, say the career I'm in right now is not gonna last forever and let me make the best time of it. So around 35 I started learning to code, I started learning to practice and pursue this idea of web development. And just last year, right before the pandemic, I got my first job, and you know what, it saved me. I was lucky to get my job. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, it is very difficult when you're first starting out to get a job, but I was lucky to get a job that I've been working now for the past year remotely, and it literally saved my life. If I kept my old job, I would be unemployed. I worked with people in a gym setting, and you know, for the past year until recently, all the gyms were closed. I would have went out of business. So this idea for me was not a New Year's resolution, it was a necessity. I had no other choice. And I think when you commit to something as if you have no other choice, you are going to put in more work that is required work regardless every day to make your dream come true or to make your goal come true. And this brings me to the talk of this video, is that it's not about setting goals or this idea, because goals, they're just a thought, it's just an idea. It's not an outlined path or instructional that allows you to accomplish your goals. So what I would say in this video, instead of setting goals, what you need to do is set procedures. You need to have a systematic approach to studying that you could follow, and it could be something as simple as having a curriculum of all the things that you have to learn to get your job, and have a systematic approach where hour a day or 2 hours a day. I recommend 2.5 hours a day if you can't study as a bare minimum. 2 hours. Some people say, Paul, that's a lot of time to study. Well, that's 2 shows. You know what I mean? If you stop watching 2 shows on Netflix, that's your study time for coding. Wake up an hour earlier, go to bed a little bit 1 hour later, whatever it is you have to do. That's not what this video is about, but this video is about this idea of setting up a consistent schedule, a system that you follow. And I'll give you a brief example. Let's say you're getting into web development, you don't know where to start. So before doing any coding or studying, the first thing you have to do is you have to figure out what are the technologies you have to learn to get a job. If you can't answer that question, you'll be spinning your wheels and learning the wrong things, and you'll be wasting a lot of time on your journey trying to accomplish your goal. So the first thing I did eventually, because I made all these mistakes, I hope you don't make this mistake, that's why I'm telling you right now, is you need to figure out what you need to learn, the curriculum that you need to learn to get your job. In web development, the basics are you need to know HTML, CSS, JavaScript. As a bare minimum. You should also be familiar with some UI design and patterns, especially if you're looking to get into front end. And this is from the standpoint I'm going to talk about in this video, looking to get into front end. And then you also have to learn a front end framework like React, Angular, or Vue. I chose React. So as a bare minimum, you need to learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React. Let's say you want to reach your goal in 6 months. You have to break down how much time you're going to spend on learning those texts. So maybe for the first 4 weeks, you're doing HTML and CSS. For next 4 weeks, you're doing JavaScript. And then for the third 4 weeks, you're doing your React. And then the last 4 weeks, you're working on building projects for your portfolio and practicing your skill. And you divide those tasks into daily, hourly routines that every day before the day comes, you know what you're going to study and do. And I know this is overly simplified, but the point what I'm trying to make, if you don't have a system of procedures in place, it is going to be impossible for you to hit your goals. So what I would recommend in this video for you guys, number one, if you're just getting into this, decide what you need to learn first and set those constraints for you, and don't try to do anything else because there's too much stuff to learn. You need to focus on the basic bare minimum that you need to get a job. Number two, if maybe you're not just starting out, you already started, make sure you set a daily system in place that you follow religiously that allows you to get results that you need in your studying. By me going on a scale and weighing myself doesn't mean that I gain weight because I weighed myself and I'm heavier. Measurement of my weight has nothing to do if I'm going to lose or gain weight. It is the type of food I'm eating. So instead of trying to weigh myself, I should probably measure the foods I eat because that's a more direct way. And if I have a system that tells me to eat very specific foods, I don't even have to weigh myself. I know I will lose weight if I'm following the system. Again, another crazy example, but point is that you need to have a systematic approach to your studying where you know what the goal is, you know where that end is, and you have steps that outline daily activities that you have to do to reach that goal. And no plan is perfect, and sometimes you're going to start doing something and you might have to tweak your direction. But anyway, that's all I wanted to tell you in this video. I'm finally comfortable with this environment that I set up. I'm visiting my family, so if you didn't see any videos from me, I was trying to get the camera set up, make the space look somewhat kind of in line with the channel. Oh, by the way, if you see the keyboard here, that's something that I'm trying to do as part-time to make sure I'm not going crazy with this pandemic. But most of my work is actually spent programming and studying, and that's what you should be doing too if you want to succeed in your field. Anyway, thanks for watching as always. If you like what I do here, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time.